I am 92 years old, and 3 years ago, almost everyone in my family agreed on one thing, that it was time for me to leave this house. My own children sat right at that kitchen table and told me, gently, that I would be safer somewhere else. And I want to tell you something that surprised even me. They were wrong. Of course, dear, I am not telling you to ignore your own doctor or your own family. I can only share what I learned for myself. But that morning, after they left, I sat alone in my favorite chair, the one by the window, and I felt something I had not expected to feel. Not fear, relief. There is a kind of safety that does not come from walls or alarms or a nurse down the hall. It comes from knowing exactly where the floor creaks, exactly which cupboard holds the good cups, exactly how the morning light falls across the table by 8 o'clock. I did not have words for it then. I only knew that something in me, some old, quiet part of me, said, "Stay." And I am glad I listened, because what I learned in the months that followed changed how I think about growing older entirely. And the next thing I noticed, well, it had nothing to do with the house at all. It had to do with the people just outside my door. And that, my friend, surprised me even more than the first thing did. Now, where was I? Yes, the people outside my door. You see, when my children spoke about moving me somewhere new, they spoke about safety, about help close by. And I understood that, I truly did. But what nobody mentioned, what nobody seemed to think of at all, was what I would lose. Not just the house, the man 2 doors down who waves at me every single morning without fail, the woman at the corner shop who has called me Helen dear for 30 years. You might think the answer to staying sharp in your later years is doing puzzles or reading more books. And yes, those things help, I am sure of it, but it is not the whole answer. It isn't. What I noticed in my own life was something simpler. It was the conversations, the small ones, the ones over a fence or in a grocery line, that happen only when you stay in one place long enough for people to know your name. My doctor has always encouraged this kind of connection. She says it matters, and I believe her completely, and I am not the only one who found this to be true. My friend Dorothy, 91 years old, sharp as anything, she told me the very same thing, almost word for word, the last time we spoke. She said, "Helen, it is not the walking that keeps my mind young. It is the talking, the familiar faces, the little hellos that ask for nothing back." And that brings me to something I have not told very many people, something about the next point. It is the one most people, even people my own age, have completely wrong. You have stayed with me this far, and I am grateful for that. I truly am. So let me tell you the thing I promised, the one most people get completely wrong. Everybody assumes that loneliness for someone my age comes from living alone, from having no one in the next room. But that was never true for me. And I do not think it is true for most people if they are honest with themselves. What nearly made me lonely was not my empty house. It was the thought of leaving it, because leaving would have meant starting over. New faces, new streets, no one who remembers the year my husband planted that tree outside, no one who knows my name without being told. If you are watching this right now and you are afraid of being alone, I want you to stop for a moment, because this next part is for you. Loneliness is not about how many walls surround you. It is about how many of those walls know your story. And dear, your own familiar home, if you can manage it safely with the right support, may hold more company in its memories than a brand new room ever could. If this is finding you at the right moment, I would love for you to stay with me on this channel. There is so much more I want to share with you, dear. And when this video ends, I have left something even more important waiting for you. The next one is about the morning my own children finally understood why I would not leave. I think you will want to see that one. But before that, there are still 2 more things I learned. And the next one is the one that cost me the most to admit, even to myself. This next one, I will be honest with you, dear, this one is not easy for me to say, because staying home did not mean everyone simply agreed with me and smiled. It meant disappointing the people I love most. My daughter cried in this kitchen once. She said, "Mother, I worry about you every single day, every single hour." And I had no good answer for her, none at all. I only knew in that quiet, stubborn place inside me that this was still my home, my choice, my life to live as I saw fit, and that I would rather take that risk than hand my whole life over to someone else's comfort. It cost me something to hold that line. It cost me some hard nights wondering if I was being foolish or selfish or simply too old to know better. Of course, dear, none of this means going without help or refusing support or shutting your family out. I had help when I needed it. I still do. But there is a difference between accepting help and surrendering your own home because someone else feels afraid for you. I had to learn that difference the hard way. And slowly, very slowly, my daughter began to understand. She still worries. She tells me so every Sunday on the phone. But she has stopped asking me to leave. And that quiet truce, taught me something I never expected to learn at 92, which brings me to the very last thing. And I believe it is the most important of everything I have shared with you today. So here is the last thing, dear, the most important one. Staying home was never really about the house at all. It was about something much simpler, dignity, the right to wake up in my own bed, make my own coffee, sit in my own chair by that same window, and call those choices mine for as long as I possibly can. Nobody can give that feeling to you in a new place, no matter how comfortable, how safe, how well-intentioned. It has to already be there, waiting for you, in the life you already built. If you take nothing else from what I have shared today, take this. You are allowed to want to stay. You are allowed to fight gently for that, even when the people who love you are frightened on your behalf. That morning, 3 years ago, when I sat in the same chair and felt relief instead of fear, I did not know yet where it would lead. I only knew I was not ready to leave, and I am so glad, so very glad, that I trusted that feeling. Everything I have shared with you today comes only from my own life and my own experience, dear. It is not medical advice, and I am no doctor. Please always speak with your own doctor or your own family before making any changes of your own. If you are new here, I want you to know that Helen's Life Lessons is a quiet place I come to share what life has taught me. If any of that speaks to you, stay. There is a little button right there, just press it, and I will be here every time you need a moment like this. And when you are ready, the next video is already waiting for you, right at the end of this one, about the morning my children finally understood. I think it may be exactly what you need to hear next. If any of this found you today, I am glad. I truly am.